In this video, we'll be looking at the nervous system and comparing it to the endocrine system. So we'll start by taking a look at the nervous system, and the functional unit of the nervous system, as you should remember, is the neuron. And the neuron does all of the things that the nervous system is responsible for, including making and releasing neurotransmitters. When we talk about neurotransmitters, the one that you should be the most familiar with is acetylcholine, ACH. In addition, it's carrying the electrochemical signal. So we've got a signal being passed from the cell body down the axon to the terminal end. From the terminal end, it's jumping the gap known as the synapse into a new dendrite. And all of this is very rapid, but short-lived. That is my son. So when we talk about something being rapid and short-lived, in other words, I want you to think about running. When you run, it's important that you have your knee and it quickly bends. So when we're talking about bending, that's the flexing of the back part of your thigh. So those muscles have to rapidly contract so that it lifts your knee upward. And then when you go down to step, the front part of your thigh needs to quickly contract. This area has to release so that your leg can move the other direction. Has to be a very rapid movement. If it's too slow, then you're not able to actually move. You're kind of stuck frozen until the neuron has stopped working, which is why acetylcholinesterase, our enzyme breaking down acetylcholine, is important so that the action potentials can quickly stop being transmitted. Okay. As a review of the parts of the nervous system, we've got our central nervous system and our peripheral nervous system. Central is going to be the brain and the spinal cord. And they have all of the relay networks that are important for picking up signals from the sensory division of the peripheral. And then they're relaying the signal and then sending it out to the motor. And so what kind of actions do we have going on here? Well, we are innervating or giving a nerve signal to muscles. And you probably think of your typical skeletal muscles that make up your biceps and all that happy stuff. Those are the voluntary things that you control. But we also have muscles in the arteries and in the veins that are responsible for vasodilation and vasoconstriction. We also have muscles in your eyes that are responsible for dilating your pupils. You have muscles in your gut that are responsible for peristalsis. And then you also have glands. And glands are any, kind of look like little sacs, and they contain some kind of chemical. And when there's a nerve giving the signal to the gland, they squeeze and secrete whatever that chemical is. We can look at endocrine or exocrine glands. Endocrines are going to be the ones that we're looking at here in a second. They're secreting into the blood. Or you can have an exocrine gland, exo meaning out of, meaning it's secreting out of the body, for example, sweat glands or oil glands. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over and start talking from the nervous system over to the endocrine system. And it's a little bit more complicated than what we were looking at with the nervous system. Nervous system has neurons. That's really the end of the story with the nervous system. But the endocrine system has glands. And glands are going to secrete hormones. And there's two types of hormones we will be talking about: polypeptides and steroid hormones. Don't worry too much about those right now, but you have two types of hormones. Anyway, what hormones are chemicals that elicit a response in a different part of the body from where they came. So how do they get there? Well, the gland, as we looked at, that looks like this, is secreting into blood. So the other important player in the endocrine system is your blood system. And your blood goes throughout your entire body, meaning that when you secrete a hormone, that it can go into the entire body and it can have systemic effects. But it's going to look at what's known as a target cell. And a target cell is any cell with the chemical receptor for a particular hormone. Okay, so here's your cell, your receptor, and your hormone. I'm sorry, when I draw really small, it doesn't like that on my tablet. So anyway, so that's what we've got. Our endocrine glands secrete hormones into the blood, hopefully affecting the target cell. And you can have very, very small numbers of hormones released and have a large effect. And so what are some of the organs specifically that you, hi Shayla, that you need to know about? Hold on just a second. So we started out by looking at the organs of the nervous system. These are everywhere in your body, your central nervous system, your peripheral nervous system, and you can't really look anywhere in your body without finding a nerve close by. However, because we are relying so heavily on the blood already in the endocrine system, there's just a couple key glands that you're going to need to know about. And one of them is actually part of your brain. That's going to be called the pituitary and the hypothalamus. Specifically, we'll be looking at the hypothalamus and how it works with the anterior and posterior pituitary. Those are both in your brain. You also have your thyroid, your thymus, your gonads. And so in males, that'll be the testes. In females, the ovaries. And then finally, we've got your adrenals. Ad means above. Renals means kidney. So your adrenals sit right on top of the kidneys. And all of these are much, much slower, but they elicit a long-lasting response. It's the reason why when women get the shot, the birth control shot, that it can last months instead of needing to get it every single minute. If it were something that were affecting the nervous system, because it's so short-lived, you'd have to get it by the minute. So here's our overview, nervous system versus endocrine. And it's important that we not think of these as two separate pieces. The endocrine relies heavily on the nervous system because you've got the nervous system innervating glands. Those glands are going to be releasing hormones. The hormones can then cause responses that the nervous system isn't quite capable of. But what is the big picture here? The big picture is this. We're trying to maintain homeostasis. Meaning we're trying to keep your body in some kind of constant. If you get too hot, it's time to cool down. And how does that happen? Your nervous system figures out that you're too hot, sends a signal to the glands to release sweat. The glands then start to release sweat. You do things with your endocrine gland that can get things back into sync. And we'll talk about those particulars in the next unit. So your nervous system and your endocrine system are working together to maintain homeostasis, keeping you in a balance so that your body's able to function, so that the enzymes are at the proper temperature and pH, so that you have enough oxygen to be able to continue cellular respiration, but not so much oxygen that you don't have any carbon dioxide left that it whacks out your pH. Again, very complicated stuff, all working on during the next unit. Big picture, make sure you know what the organs are. Make sure you know that your nervous system is working quickly and that when you need a longer lasting response, that's happening from the endocrine system. And with that, I hope you enjoy your Monday. And hopefully you have a snow day tomorrow. Sorry for that text. Okay, bye.